where culture meets context. The real is long, judged by the shadow where culture meets context. The real is long, judged by the shadow where culture meets.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Realist Lounge where culture meets context. I am your hostess with the Moses, Shannon Nicole. I have my lovely co-host here, Unapologetically G. And with us, we have a new fave on the Realist Lounge and definitely one of my digital besties, Mark the Model, aka Model Citizen. Welcome, man.
How are you ladies doing today?
Hey, Mark.
You ain't gotta put the charm on for us. Like, how are you, David?
Look, I'm biting right into it. Hey, Mark.
Welcome, y'all.
Oh
But
my
listen,
goodness.
man, we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Food is running a little behind. He on CP time right now, but it's all good. We are here, and listen, we gonna talk about something tonight because I've been seeing some things online that's just been kind of been stirring up a fire in me. And I ain't gonna hold you. I do get tired of talking about race. Unapologetically, G pointed this out. That, man, can we have a challenge where we don't talk about race and politics? I said I can't make any promises because damn, y'all is wilding out there, left and right, wilding. Y'all are wilding out here, and I come to the realization that America is obsessed with race. Y'all obsessed with it. It's not even racism, it's just race. And I think that it could possibly be that what we may have learned about race is wrong. When you don't really know the difference between race and prejudice, you kind of get both of them intertwined with each other, and you think that what you're saying is actually true when it's really not. It's really just feelings. It's really just anger you may have. It may just be something you may see on social media that may be like, oh, well, that's racist, when really it's just a person being an idiot and being prejudiced. And that's black or white. So we're going to talk a lot about that black and white term, because maybe everything that we think that we may know about both of them is wrong. But that's just my perception. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, G, you think that America is obsessed with race?
I think that America is trying to continue to perpetuate racism, and they won't show us, because I believe if we take a poll of everybody in their own personal life, a lot of people don't see it or feel it, right? And then they take these examples and they blow them up and they make them huge examples. And so what we see is what we consume is what we see, and then it just play out like that, right? So your brain is thinking about racism and it's only looking for racism after a certain point in time of so much consumption of racism that's all you see. So I mean, I do not think that it does not exist, but I just think that it exists on a smaller scale. That's all.
What you think, Mark?
Well, I think that's complicated, to be honest with you. From the standpoint of the same thing that makes you laugh makes you cry. The reason why America is obsessed with race is because they program us to be obsessed with race. One way or another, everything from the way that we view life, from the time that we're born, for how we interact in school, how we interact in job sites and situations like that, all of that is based on race. When you go to a job site, how many times have the first people that you automatically align with been the black people, if you can find any? Or have you even found yourself to the point where you going in there and you counting? Maybe it's just a situation where, you know, it's only one or two black people, but I bet you spotted those one or two black people out. It's just like the same thing with people who drive white cars. You never paid attention to white cars until you got on the road. Now every other car seems like it's a white car. It's just the way our mind is automatically trained. So what I'm saying is they train us to think about race, hence why we always think about it. But if we could somehow put our mindset in a way to look at character first. When you see a person, don't just automatically assume anything about them based on their race, but actually have a conversation with them and then formulate an opinion. Then probably we could, change the trajectory of our country. But unfortunately, I feel like the toothpaste may be out of the tube.
Go ahead.
So it's this I had to look it up because I wanted to get the proper word for what the RAS is. It is the way that our brains work. We haven't been programmed like this. We've been made like this. So it's called reticular activating system. Just like he said, until you buy a certain car, you never pay attention to that car. The day you buy that car, you see 7 cars just like it. So it's what we put into our system. It has a natural filter to only now look for those things, if that makes sense, right?
That makes sense. What's up, fool? Welcome. Nah, fool ain't. You muted, bro.
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
What's going on, man?
I'm defeated.
You look defeated, bro.
When I say weird, what just happened? 'Cause I've never had any issues, but obviously I'm here, so
it don't matter. That's all that matters is that you're here.
Yeah,
it's good, bro.
You're here. Listen, we just over here just breaking it down in the beginning. We wanted to know, like, do you think that America is obsessed with race?
No, I think the powers that be are, because they want a race war. I see too many people. Excuse me. I see too many hillbillies in the country, in the supermarket with their light-skinned grandson. So I cannot sit here and say that people are. If that was the case, me and Mark would be punching white dudes in the face all the time. It don't happen. We would see hair pulling we don't see it.
Yeah.
I've always said this. Anybody can be an asshole. That's just common. But when you start talking about race, this is what the powers that be want, because that's when they flourish. And yourself and Tiffany have said this plenty of times. Energy harvesting. They want us talking about it all the time. They want us obsessed with it all the time, because then they can pull that energy from us. It kills them when we don't care. Whatever.
And then it's killing us from the stress of it all.
Yeah. Let me go to the comments real quick, because I see somebody over here in my IG live going crazy. Marky Avelli says that you hate white people, and this is the ignorance that we see online on a regular basis, because I know that Machiavelli is a bot. It's not even worth me even raising my blood pressure from it, because we know you're a bot. And what's crazy is that I always got to draw back to the firewall that was removed by Obama, because if he would never have touched that, we would never have this problem. We would never have social media that's always constantly feeding us racism on a regular basis, even to the point to where the same company, the same social media app that said we have to get America only over here. We need to pull away from China. Let's pull this app away from China. And y'all know what app I'm talking about. You wanted it to be only ran by America, and it has gotten worse. It has gotten worse. It's even more racist than I've probably seen it before you even bought it. So it's coming to the point to where we're starting to notice that we are definitely being conditioned, not only by the media, when every time they put a news out, it's always white, black man killed white person, black person beat up white person beat up black person. We're being conditioned to think this way because racism is expensive. It makes money. Our attention to it makes money. But the crazy thing is that a lot of the things y'all think y'all know about race is wrong. Most of y'all ain't even white. You just classified as it. Most of y'all aren't even black. You just classify as it. And some of y'all chose to classify as a specific race. A lot of us didn't. You didn't. Did you choose to be classified as black, Mark?
Nah, I just woke up this morning and I
You
was
just woke up
blessed
this
with
way,
all this
G.
beautiful goodness.
Fool.
Nope.
None of us had a choice. Some of y'all did, and y'all still chose white because y'all think y'all know what it means to be white.
Well, can I say this?
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think that racism is merely a tool used by the wealthy to keep poor people disenfranchised. Um,
Both.
when
Yeah.
billionaires are in a room, right? It doesn't matter whether it's Vivek Ramaswamy. It doesn't matter whether it's an African dude from Nigeria or whatever the case may be. The only thing that's doing the talking in that room is the money. And so what rich people really want, they realize that it's very little of them and it's so many of us. So in order to keep us at bay, they keep us going round and round in these petty quarrels about foolishness. Because at the end of the day, if you cut a white person, if you cut a Latino person, an Asian person, if you cut me, we all gonna bleed red. Bottom line, when it comes to the creator not looking at us by our skin color, he looking at us through our heart and how our character is. That we use race as a measuring tool to determine how much respect to give a person. The same reason why you ask a person when you meet them what they do for a living, because in your mind you're thinking, okay, depending on what they tell me is going to be the level of respect that I give this person. Because if a person say that they a doctor or a physician or a lawyer, something along those lines, then you ready to slurp the meat. But then as soon as the person tell you that they a janitor or a person working McDonald's, no matter what they do as a janitor or working at McDonald's, they could own the damn company, but you ready to just denigrate them just because of how you perceive them. I'm just saying, like, it's a lot of things at play. And when it really comes down to it, racism is not even real. It's just a tool that they use to keep you on the hamster wheel going round and round in this doom loop, arguing about dumb shit. Because if you were really focused, you would see that they playing you on every level in every aspect, and you'd really focus on what matters, and that's love, family, and getting to the bag.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, that's how we're going to start this show up, but we got a little something new that we bring it to the table just to kind of keep the momentum going from the jump. We calling this fresh off the press. And basically what we do is we bring up different news articles or important information that we feel that the public may need to know. Before we jump into the main topic, we're just going to go ahead and start with what's shaping the conversation. And I'm going to go ahead and let my girl to the right of me, since ladies is first. What would you like to share when it comes to Fresh with the Press? What we need to know? What we need to know, sis?
What's been going on? Oh, so what about Trump is did you see that he filed a lawsuit against the IRS for $10 billion?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. I saw a couple of people. I saw some people saying that he was doing it to steal or something like that. I didn't really read all the way into it. Tell us about it.
No, he doing that because they've been stealing. He knows, okay, so we know that he knows that these systems are fraudulent and loopholes and fake, and that the Federal Reserve is not federal, and that the IRS is not a part of the government. And so he knows they've been stealing from our ass and from everybody from the beginning. And so he brought that lawsuit on for fraudulence against the IRS for exactly $10 billion. Stealing.
I can't stand the IRS.
Trump is a bad man, bro.
He
Trump
is, man. Teflon Don. Like I'm telling y'all. That's Teflon Don.
Man, boy, he's so cold with it.
You out here dodging bullets.
Even if you hate him, you can't hate but love him, bro. He cold. He cold with everything he do. Nigga, he be pimp handing these hoes, man.
I hate how they hate my president, man. I hate it, man. I really do. Because he's such a genuine dude, actually. Man. Like, I voted for Trump. I ain't vote for the rest of y'all clowns. I didn't. Rest of y'all, I be kind of sometimes wondering, like, listen, like, are y'all playing for this team or nah?
Right.
What's going on, Martin? What's happening? What's up? What's that? Slayer? Well, either way, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Fool, what about you? Like, what you got? Oh, I'm sorry, sis. Was you done? Or did you still have more to add?
I just wanted to give some more factual information if I could find it real quick about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I heard about it, but I didn't really read a lot about it. I didn't really read into it as much. I was wondering.
A judge denied the request for a 90-day extension and ordered both the attorneys from Trump's side and the Department of Justice to submit briefs by May 27th. So we'll have some upcoming more factual news to come on the May 27th, right? When they go back to court and try to figure out if they can move it forward.
Okay. All right. Fool, what about you? What you got for the hot off the press? We can't hear you, bro.
Yeah, I had sent you the wrong video. But
Just
somebody that looks like us threatened the president, a brother, and let's just say he found out. 3 years. And when I say he threatened the president, he went into detail what he was going to do. And he got 3 years, and after those 3 years, I think he's gonna have 3 to 6 years supervised probation. So once again, fuck around and find out. That, to me, let's just keep it a buck. We already know how the system works in this country. We already know how it works.
Yeah.
You of all people are going to threaten the president. You have to be one of the dumbest motherfuckers I have ever heard of in my like why? It's certain things we know not to do. We know not to do because we know that there could be a consequence. And it's always going to be a matter of why put yourself in that situation. And the sad part about it is people still won't learn. They still will do it.
Hell yeah.
He ain't look like one of us though.
No.
You sure? Where he was from?
Big black. Bulky.
Yeah. He looked.
That
he
ain't the
definitely
same
looked
dude
like
I
one of us.
saw.
Nah. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, please pull that up because that ain't the same person I saw. I saw he looked like he was light skinned, maybe. He might be. I didn't know he was American. I just thought that he was maybe from, I didn't know. We don't know. We don't never know. I don't know who's black or white anymore. So I don't fucking know.
I got to the point I start putting up under some of these posts with some of these black people acting a damn fool. Don't put that shit on us. That's not us.
I swear this is where we gotta be. Listen, let me tell you something. I saw the craziest thing. Look, I gotta tell y'all because we was on some bullshit last night. We was. I saw the craziest shit. So, bro, just share it. Just share it.
I gotta see how I can do it.
Yeah, I don't know how I'll be able to do it from my phone. I can't do it. Yeah, that's much better. But did you, first of all, what got me down this rabbit hole, and I'm gonna be quick because I know we're on the time. Do y'all remember when Russell Simmons made that video about Harriet Tubman? Y'all don't remember that like freaky parody that he made about Harriet Tubman back in 2012?
Hell no.
Yo, Russell Simmons made a Harriet Tubman comedy porno. Real shit. It's literally still. It's not like you could like see. It's not like real porn like that you would see on like Pornhub, but it was pretty graphic, and it is literally on YouTube right now. Y'all could go look it up if y'all do not believe me. It is so disgusting that he made this, and she was having sex with the slave master and everything. He was hitting it from the back, and then they cut the screen, and then she was hitting it from the back. That's what it was like. Yes, Russell Simmons made this. I think it was either 2012 or 2000. It was either way. Obama was president. That's all I remember. Did you never knew that? So
that's not surprising though, considering Obama was under the presidency. Like a lot of wild shit was happening.
Happening. Yeah. So me and Duffy was talking about it, and we was laughing about it, whatever. And then he was like, "Did you know that they made a porn for Roots?" And I said, "You lying?" No, y'all. I promise you, they got a porn out here with Roots. It's Roots. They are on the slave ship. They on the slave plantation for porno. And I'm looking at the black folks that's in this Roots. They were tethers. They were straight up tethers. I was like, there's no way any black person in this country could have been able to just pull this. I don't give a fuck how much money that shit was worth. But you could look at them and you could tell.
You got a lot of faith in the black people around here, huh?
It ain't a lot of faith in them, but I just know that it wasn't them.
The
And it's like,
the niggas I know is going for a few dollars. It don't matter what you want
they
them to do.
probably are. But I mean, like to depict that type of imagery.
When you got self-hatred though, I mean, we got a lot of self-hatred in the black community. I mean, that's the reason why we get exploited the way that we do for the things that we get exploited for, because we hate ourselves.
Well, there is ghetto gaggers, but ghetto gaggers is for the women. I know you've seen this shit before. I know you have freaky nigga. Freaky ass.
Yeah.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Mind your business.
I want to go to the fake one.
This is an adult conversation.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, listen. Don't let the boys go. I've been old for a while. Okay, there was a time when I was young and then I was doing some, but I'm not no more. Right? I'm reformed by the gave my life to Christ. Come on now.
Well, if you are a Black American and you was in that damn Roots film, I hope that all the bad days in life happen to you and nobody else but you.
Now you wild. You definitely wild. You a wild.
No,
like,
that shit was
first
first of all, the acting was bad. Okay. We already got a problem when it comes to pornos nowadays with Black folks. The acting be terrible as shit. It be terrible and all, but it's always like it's racism in porno. That's some crazy shit if you think about it, because yes, I have watched porn before. Kiss my ass if you hating, but if you judging. But like it's always this buxom blonde. She's all nice, well put together. Nice, busty blonde meets brat. And they're all in this nice space. Oh no, when it comes to Black people, big booty heifer named Shaquita. 7 ways.
They play into the stereotypes because the stereotypes make them money.
Straight up, big bad wig, man. I'm talking about the wig be bad, or they just. We've come a long way from Janet Jack Me. That's all I'm saying.
Lord have mercy.
You know, I'm telling the truth, but no, but like, huh?
Why my mother's name is Vanessa, and I didn't know. I don't know. See, I'm not
the
like y'all. I didn't know no better. Why was I calling my mother Vanessa Del Rio? I just heard the name. I just heard the name in the street somewhere, like, and so she turned and said, "What the fuck you got?" I thought it was so
whoa.
Yeah, that's why she can't stand me to this day. Lord have mercy.
Vanessa Del Rio, the original Thogo.
Lord, help me, Lord.
Oh man, fool, you all right over there? You look stressed, bro.
No, I'm good.
Man, I don't like you.
I
emailed
you. I emailed you the video.
The screen.
You heard what I said?
Huh?
I emailed you the video. I can't work it. I don't know what's going on over here. I gotta play with this.
It's all good. Let's see.
Oh, porn, obviously.
It's all good. Well, shoot. While I figure that out, we're gonna play it in a minute. I want to get into this blast from the past because I've been waiting to tell y'all about this shit all day long. So what you all do not know is I love looking up. I'm nosy when it comes to history, but I like to have my ducks in a row. And I had the pleasure of getting membership with this company called Newspaper. It's a newspaper archive site. It's connected to ancestry.com if you all are interested in checking it out. And they be having news clippings all the way to like the 18, sometimes 1600s, depending on where you are, all around the world. So I just be looking up stuff going on in this country. And I realized that the people who started our country were real life some assholes. Like they really was. Like they really didn't want us to be united like we are right now. And it's sad to see that because not all of them was on the same wave, but at that time it wasn't a two-party system. It was all one. And then they would have wig parties, the know-nothings and shit like that. Then they would break apart. But there was a time in this country where certain things that happened historically, we do not hear about enough. We don't hear about white slavery as much as we think, as much as we should. And I know a lot of people who are Irish like to talk about that. that, you know what I mean, when it comes to their ancestors being possibly white slaves in this country. But I wasn't aware of how long we had white slaves in this country. I was under the impression that in 1790 that it was abolished with the naturalization of 1790 when free whites became a thing. But it wasn't. It went a lot longer than I thought.
1830s.
Shit.
Slaves.
I was like, wow.
Servants.
I'm about to say indentured servants.
No. These were slaves.
I mean, yeah, we know they were, but their history is indentured servants.
Right. But they were slaves. And they was, a lot of them was treated as such until a certain period of time. What's up, Panamanian Ricky? What's happening, man?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Welcome. So
Appreciate it.
we talking about the blast from the past right now. We talking about how like certain parts of history regarding race in this country we don't really hear about a lot. Like we didn't know about white slaves until recently. And you know what I'm saying? We recently, to like within the last 24 hours, I found out that white slaves was in this country a whole lot longer than we were taught, even with what Google says. Google is not y'all friend, y'all, when it comes to looking up certain shit. I'm gonna just be honest with you, they really not. I even tested Google to put in white slaves and were there white slaves in America, and they went somewhere else. There definitely was. So this is something I call blast from the past. But we go back to past archives, past newspapers, and we bring them into the current because it makes sense to do so. In order for us to move forward in this world, in our lives, we got to sometimes go back to make sure we don't make the same mistakes. So this is just a teaching moment, but I'm excited to share with you all. And like I said, if you all are interested in checking out newspapers, archives, you can check it out through ancestry.com. So this is from the Portage Sentinel in 1847. It says any person who has property or capital must sell himself. Now it was no color. It was any person, or at least his services, for whatever he could get, or he will starve. He is entirely dependent on his neighbor for permission to procure subsistence. He is not allowed to cultivate any share of that soil which nature has freely given for the use of all, and consequently can only live on such terms as see fit to consent to. Now, is the black slaves a more helpless, independent being? Is greater advantage taken on the conditions of the black slaves than of the whites? And is the black slave in more pitiable conditions than the white one? The black slave is compelled to toil for the benefit of others. The white slave is also compelled to toil for the benefit of others. And according to the abolitionists themselves, the labor of the white slave is 25% more profitable to the employer than that of the black, which is saying that the white slave works 1/4 cheaper or receives 25% less of what he produces than the black slave. So see, even as a slave, we was all equal. We were still equal then. Wasn't no, I don't know. I got to finish, but then I'm going to tell y'all what I think about this. The family of the black slave is sometimes separated by force. Now, the family of the white slave is often compelled to separate, and the children are frequently sent into factories and cities where their health and morals are too generally seriously injured or totally ruined. Now, the black slave cannot choose his master. The white slave, he is often thankful that he can have any master at all. The black female slave is sometimes compelled to submit to the licentious desires of the master. So it is in regard to our own white sisters and daughters. Isn't that crazy? Do you see
Don't
how they
think
worded
it.
that though? Excuse me.
Yeah.
What you gotta say, Mark? I mean,
They
Which-
said the black woman slaying freaky naked. He said she got little litigious. Waits for the master, huh? Ain't that a bitch?
ain't that
I'm
a
sorry, I
bitch?
found that funny. Pardon me.
And I'm reading this and I'm thinking to myself, have you noticed how they still put them in the same category, but one gets a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
than the other one?
Yeah.
Y'all still the same. We still look at y'all below us,
Yeah.
but we're going to give them just a little bit more over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Decency. Ain't that a bitch?
Ain't that kind of like what they do now?
Yeah.
Only thing is, it's just not white people anymore. We'll give you a little bit more money, Negro, if you could soft shoe, tap dance, and buck dance and say what we want to say. Let's put our white, nasty hand up your ass, give you a cup of money, and we're going to do this to you. Towards your own people. And we're going to let you talk shit about white people, too.
We'll give you
Thanks.
that.
Who's that? Is that who we talking about? We talking
That's the Democrats.
I says, we talking like Roland Martin? Or we talking like
Yeah, we talking like Roland Martin. We talking about Al Sharptons. We talking about Jasmine Crockett. We talking about the bald-headed chick. What's the name? Ashley
Reed?
Presley, whatever her name is, Ariana.
Yeah. All of them.
Yeah.
We talking about them, but see, when it comes to don't I ain't gonna leave you Republicans out either. We talking about Byron Donalds. We talk about Hodge twins.
You
We're
don't
gonna
like
give y'all a little
Byron
bit of money, long as y'all just constantly talk about the worst parts of your community. Don't say nothing good about these niggas, okay? That's all you point out. And then you say what we want you to say. At the end of the day, they look at us all the same. They just give certain people a little bit more if they go towards the agenda. I don't know. What you think, fool?
It's funny when you started mentioning names, because we've had this conversation when me and Pretty first met, and we used to be on the lives, and I used to always say I ain't rock with Candace Owens like that, because I said she was an opportunist. I always said this. And then I said, prime example, I said the story she did when she broke the stuff down about Kamala Harris and her family history, I gave her credit for. But I said I never liked the fact that she built her career on kicking the backs in of black people. And we've never heard about Candace Owens in the community doing anything for the community. We've never heard this. So for me, anybody out there, especially on the Republican side, if you consistently talking about the statistics of what goes on in the black community and you ain't doing nothing to fix it, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear from you because we don't need to hear numbers. Have you done a book bag drive? Have you done a food drive? We never have heard that at all. And I'm talking about not from one of them. Not one. We've heard about activists. We've heard what they've done. Hell, you even got what's the name? You even got Clyburn's old ass. At least he do a fish fry. He ain't shit, but at least do a fish fry in South Carolina sometimes. What has these pundits done? I ain't never heard Van Jones in the hood ever. None of them.
Whoa. Van Jones used to be an activist. He had locks and everything.
Yeah.
He looked like the dude off Showgirls.
For sure. He went and asked for that money for Trump for black people incarcerated, and then
exactly
turned into a damn, I don't know what, inside out Oreo. I don't know what the hell. A crybaby.
You ain't never seen them pictures of Van Jones with them locks out there?
I have. I've seen it, and that's my whole thing. Like everybody on this panel, I don't think we can be bought. And the fact that these people have given up their souls so that they can be down and be pundits and talk about like talk down on us, and praise an illegal immigrant. They talk down on us, but they will praise them. Nah, I'm good, yo. I'm straight. Like that it irks me because we always help each other. That's in the community, period. The community helps each other no matter who live here. We don't see them except unless the only person you see to get a sound bite, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom will show up so he can get a sound bite, but he ain't doing nothing. And Mondami, he the new one. He go there for a press op to get something on social media, but they're not doing anything for the community, and it's sad. They tear it down.
Yeah.
Let's just realize that politics is not for the community anymore.
Yes.
Like George Washington said, as soon as you divide us into two, it's over with for the people. It's about the self-interest of the people that's fucking in the two parties. It don't have nothing to do with us anymore.
I'm gonna ask. Let me ask y'all a question. I'm pretty sure everybody has been was watching what Godfather Harlem. Remember
I never seen it.
What? Who seen Godfather Harlem?
I saw it, but
remember in the beginning. Remember in the very beginning when the dude, I don't know if he was playing Clayton Powell, he was the representative for New York, and how he was going to LBJ, getting shit for the community. You want my vote? My district need this. Quid pro quo. The way Claude Anderson talked about it. We don't see that no more because they all about getting their money. We'll get their money. They don't care. Communities tore down, depending on where you at.
I mean, pick six. Look at this pick six. Don't leave Martin Luther King ass out of it. Jesse Jackson, that whole little crew got the Jewish man to give them $1.5 million for the community. And Malcolm X found out about that shit because they spent not $1 on the community. They split that shit in between themselves.
Wow.
So
What you think? What you think, Ricky?
Well, I have mixed feelings about it because I agree with what you said, Fu. At the same time, so this how I feel. I feel like you got to walk a fine line because I think that it sometimes it goes too far when we just keep pointing out the negative, the negative, the negative. I think that like somebody like myself, I might point out the negative because I'm kind of just want people to realize that we've like this negative thing here, we've normalized it. Now I don't know what I can do exactly. There's certain things that I'm trying to work out that I want to do. I feel like the book bag drives, the fish fries, all that's good. I feel like it has to be another step has to be taken. People of a certain level. I mean, we gotta start. We need to start trying to figure out how we can get some free programs or maybe low cost programs and pull some of these kids, these young men who don't have a lot going on, pull them into these trades and trying to breathe some positive life because I could tell you I've been seeing book bag drives and turkey giveaways and all of that my whole life, and that don't change anything. But what we really need to start focusing on is just like trying to create some things that's going to actually create change. And I mentioned the trades because one of the things that I see all the time when I'm riding around, and this is not any hate or a dislike towards anybody else, but I'm seeing like how we're just being surpassed because we've adopted this mentality where like when Jasmine Crockett said we're not in the fields anymore and all that kind of stuff. And I'm watching people surpass us because they come here. I'm not saying that you're supposed to work for nothing and work for pennies and stuff, but they come in, they got these skills, they go work for somebody, then they start buying trucks and they buying tools, and then they start having their own businesses. And we've been here all this time, and it's like what like for all the pro-blacks that talk about all of this stuff, like the Sharptons and all the people that we named, y'all actually have the money. Why don't y'all put up some money so these kids can learn how to do plumbing and HVAC and electrical and all of these things? Because I'm watching all these other groups come in, and if you live in a city like I live in, it's buildings and all kind of stuff going up every day, and I don't see us nowhere. I don't see it. I see these other groups. I see these people who have immigrated here. So I think that's one of the most important things is like, I don't know how we can change the mindset and try to convince the people that like I mean, we almost got to not start from scratch, but we have to change directions. And I think that I don't know, we're past that. If you're going to do something for the community, especially like the people that we're naming who have the money and the access, you going back and forth to the White House and all of that. Like you said, for what are you actually doing? I ain't talking about no giving out no book bags. I'm talking about doing something that can establish something that we can actually help these kids. Because like you said, we can down talk them all day, and I do it too. We can down talk them because some of these kids or some of these people in the community are terrible. But well, how are we going to down talk them? But then we don't offer any sort of alternative. It's like some people just
I agree.
they making a living out of the down talk, but yeah, you got to come with something to at least show the people. I mean, once you hold up the mirror, all right, cool. Once they see this a problem, now what you got to offer them?
I want to follow up, if you don't mind, with what
Sure.
Ricky just said, because when I say he hit something, let's just think about this. They say the statistics of a kid making it to the NBA is like 1 and like 5 or 6, 20, like 20 million, some crazy ass number. The NBA players, they know this. Same way in the NFL, they know this. Why aren't they going back to the community saying the chances of you getting to where I'm going to get is very low, but I've partnered with a bunch of other players and we're going to start these programs for this community. We don't see that shit. Now, they'll pay them to be walking into the game with them pocketbooks on. They'll do that. The fashionistas and all of that. But they're not going back to the communities. It's very few and far between where you see that. And nobody is talking like that. Not one of them. And personally, I think it's an agenda for them not to do it. They want these kids. They want them to keep on dreaming and think that's going to happen. But because I don't know, I'm old enough to remember when the crazy houses and the community centers were shut down. I remember that. I can remember going and getting the free lunch over the summer or whatever. They had the little programs. The next summer, it was gone. It was nowhere to be found. And that right there, that's when we saw things start to shift.
You know what? And I really wanted to say something real fast because I was thinking about this yesterday. I truly believe that desegregation was not just so it could bring us together, that it was really made to make money. Like that, and I'm gonna say this because I thought about what you just said. It kind of struck something in me when you think about college, right? Historical black colleges was a thing. Like it was strong in our community. Like going to college, that was some serious shit. It like people didn't play about going to school, but I noticed that like when desegregation happened. Now y'all want to start charging for college? College was free in the country at one point. There was no tuition. So now y'all want to start charging college because you know that people are probably going to start integrating and going to places like Princeton, Ivy League colleges, other Ivy League colleges. When you think about restaurants, entertainment, all of those things, that shit was segregated. It'd be better if we just go ahead and just combine it and allow everybody to come in. We're gonna make more money because now we already done burnt down all the black theaters, all the black businesses is burnt down. So 9 times out of 10, if we segregate them, they're gonna have to come over here. They're gonna have to come up in here and get a piece of this white only pie. They're gonna have to. So I think that like it's not even us as citizens or American citizens that are aware of what the system has put in place in order for us to be where we are. We are all just structured based upon what we were taught either in our homes or what we learned in school. Like Tiffany probably has had a very different lifestyle than me. So she may look at race differently than what I might look at race differently. And I have to respect that. The same thing with food. Food probably had a different thing. Like I didn't grow up around white people until I was 18. I was only around Hispanics and black people. I didn't see the division that I see with Hispanics and black people online right now. as far as racism and all that shit. I never knew what that is. So I think that like right now, these conversations that we're sharing, the experiences, it'll let people know that race or racism is not a one size fits all. Everybody's experience in this country is different when it comes to dealing with other races, as well as when it comes to even knowing what racism is. Because you could just possibly not like a motherfucker based upon what you may have experienced with somebody like that person, or you could have just possibly seen it watching TV. It's probably white people who are racist against black people, probably never met a black person a day in their fucking life.
Yep.
It's probably just based upon what they be scrolling online and seeing, or what they may hear when they hear it. But they gonna nod their head to that little Boosie. They gonna nod their head to that they gonna nod their head to that music. They gonna put them Jordans on.
You know what the problem is, sis? And I know y'all probably agree with this. They also want racism. They want racism to be a monolith. They want all of us to think about racism the exact same way. The exact same way. That's why you got 30-year-olds talking about white supremacy. You ain't never dealt with it in your life. Shut up. Shut up. Please stop. Please stop.
I saw that Mark was about to say something, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna dive into this topic. But I want to go to the comments. Shout out to everybody out there in the comments that's joining us on Facebook, on IG, on YouTube. I see Razor Ray. Hey, boo. I see you in the comments, boo. I see you. I see you. What's going on? Kaylin in the building. We got Kilo Mike. We also got Dion. Welcome, Dion. Welcome, One Lord, One Son. Everybody in the comments, I just want to go to this one. Illegal immigration lowers wages. Fact or fiction?
I say fact.
Factual.
Factual.
Fact. Yeah.
Mark?
Facts.
Food, what you think? Illegal immigration lowers wages?
Of course.
Why do you think that is? And Tiff, I'm coming to you with this one because you a numbers girl. Why how is this a thing?
This is just business, right? And business owners know this. The cheaper I can get it, especially for the better work, right? Then I'm going to go for that. So you got people that are desperate to be here. The people that have been here, like Black Americans, we know these systems, right? We're not going forward, or we have been. We put in our head, just like the brother said, that we don't have the desire that the immigrants have to want to be American and want to make it any way, anyhow type of thing. We have been spoiled in that way. But the people that come over here and work their ass off 14, 16 hours a day for $2 to $4 an hour, that's good. First of all, they live in a family in a home of 12. Right, all 12 of them work in that same field and bring home and collectively put their money together to make shit happen. So they have a different mindset than we do. The business owner is always going to go for the cheaper, more efficient labor because they never late. They're going to work until it's done. They're going to do a damn good job. You can't get black people to work for $30 an hour and be on time without smoking weed at lunch break.
I'll be on time and I work.
I'll definitely be on time, bro.
I'll be on time. I'll be on time for that.
Y'all do know that what happened in 2020 shifted the paradigm a lot also, because now you got people that don't want to work because they made so much money staying at home. That when I tell y'all, my mother has said to me probably 1,000 times, nobody wants to work anymore. She's been saying this since 2020 because a lot of people, between them working from home and them getting unemployment, they're not about that. Because I know for me, I'm Gen X. I only know to put in work. I only know how to hustle. I know how to go. I'm constantly going. When I see people, I be like, God damn, like y'all serious?
Right.
It's not even half ass. It's a third of ass because it's pitiful. It don't make no sense. This is like bad because. And y'all, we've all ate at black restaurants, black owned establishments. When you come to them with a problem to improve it, they always catch an attitude. It's very rare that they accept that constructive criticism as I can get better. They can't do that, yo.
I'm gonna be real. I don't really go to black owned establishments, to be honest with you. Listen, I will say this. I did go to one 2 Fridays ago, a very upscale restaurant by the name of Pangea in downtown Dallas, and it was very elegant. It was nice. It was classy. Everybody in there, for the most part, kind of understood the assignment. However, that's a rarity. And had I known it was black owned, I probably wouldn't have selected that restaurant. But I didn't realize that until after I made the reservation. The point I'm trying to make is that anytime we do black owned, it's like you're trying to get me to, patronize your business based on your skin color, as opposed to me patronizing your business based on the product or the services that you have. And that's the reason why so many of our businesses fail, because we're trying to appeal to people's heartstrings as opposed to appealing to people's bottom line. If you have a good product and if you offer great service, people are going to come to your business, and it doesn't matter the skin color. And what you really are doing is you're alienating yourself by making it about skin color, because you don't realize that turns a lot of people off. You think from the perspective of everybody sees the world as you do. I live kind of by this model of people who still think other people still, and I just apply that to life in every single aspect. So because you see things a certain way, you naturally assume that other people see it the same exact way. But when I hear you talking about I should come to your business because you black, I hear you begging for a handout. When I go to a white business, they're not telling me that they're a white-owned business, then I should patronize their business because they white. When I go to a Pakistani or Indian or whoever business, right, I'm not going there asking about the owner's skin color because I don't give a damn. So why am I seeing it plastered all over the place, and why are you making mention it to it? It's like you're trying to appeal to me instead of appealing to my pockets.
Well, I'm gonna say, as somebody who used to work in restaurants, I worked for black people, and it was tough. It was tough. It was tough to say the least, but they weren't really considered black-owned businesses. You know what I'm saying? Like, they wasn't selling like, they were selling soul food, but they were selling like high-end soul food. Like, they were selling if you live in Atlanta, if you've been in Atlanta, there's this place they used to call the Pecan. That's where I used to work at. One of the top best restaurants in like College Park.
Where was it at?
Like,
where was it at?
It was over there off Main Street, across the street from the MARTA.
By the airport?
Yes.
That's why. Okay. Then say no more. Keep going.
It was one in the airport also. It was called a Pecan. And it was very high. It was very white tablecloth, glasses on the table. You know what I'm saying? It was super bougie. Like, we used to get people from Delta. The owner of Chick-fil-A used to come in there and eat with us. Creflo Dollar used to come up in there. I met Andre 3000 up in that bitch, Tank up in there. It was that type of spot. So I think that, like, those are the places that I would want to frequent, that doesn't put themselves out there as a black-owned place. When you put black-owned on there, it's only saying that you just want somebody who from the community to cater to you. When they're gonna know you black-owned by the time they walk in there and see your face on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to say that you're black-owned. I'm gonna know it when I come in there and I see that your staff or you are black. We have to get out of the habit of saying that, because it segregates us from business.
But that's
condition. You know what's missing? You know what's missing from that? From, I would say, a real black-owned business that we don't see a lot of, and Mark probably felt it when he was at the spot. You feel it when you go in there.
Yeah.
A lot of times we go into businesses, it's nothing. It's empty. I'm talking about it's soulless. A good business is a good business. You can feel it when you walk in. You want to be there. I want to buy something. I want to eat here. That shit is not common anymore.
But you know what? I also think that it has a lot to do with location, because like out here, like most black-owned places, you just gonna see black people going there. You might see a sprinkle of white folk going up in there like that, but like mainly, like it's really just the same shit. It's gonna be rib joints, it's gonna be barbecue, it's gonna be soul food. You know what I mean? Like, you might see somebody who's black owned that has a vegan spot, but it's not as like living in Georgia. Really, I experienced that you don't have to be you don't have to say that I'm black owned in order for you to have a 5-star restaurant, in order for you to have white, black, all people coming to visit your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I worked at this one place called a feed store, and the food that was there, it was still Southern, but it was like bougie Southern. And it's those are the type of restaurants we need to see more of in our community, in my opinion, in the Black community. We like, let's stop with the strip clubs, the juke joints, the fucking rib joints, and the wing patties and shit. Like, we need something different. We need some cuisines going on up in this other. Can we get some cuisines? Can we not just put just Black people in the forefront? Like, let's just hire people who know how to do the job, that's good at doing the job, because all of us are not good at customer service.
Facts.
I know this because I see that y'all don't teach y'all kids customer service.
They don't teach their kids manners.
Respect.
Not at all.
I mean, like, going in a restaurant and your kids' faces in their phone is crazy work.
What if this is all about the design?
It is.
It
It's
is.
all about design.
It is. You just
I mean,
They already, listen, their goal, like, and I'm not going to say who they are because we don't know who they are. We really don't. Like, we could say it's the J Dubs. We don't know who they are, but they already have it in their mind that by 2020, by 2045, that they only want to keep us where we at. They still think that by 2045, the Black community is the only community that's going to always be at 13%. I swear to God. I said, so wait a minute. You mean to tell me that the white population is going to decline by 40 to 50%? The Latino community is going to grow. The Asian community is going to grow. The only community that's still going to be at 13% is the Black community. So you're already projected to know that we're not going to have no Fortune 500 businesses where we'll be able to just be comfortable with having families, having babies, having community. Like, I'm like, that is the shit that they structure you as. Like, you don't know what the hell 2045 is going to look like.
Well, we could look at the patterns, man. I don't know. I mean, I used to think it was hard to believe at one time, like how are we only still at 13%? But then I started to look at you look at the numbers of
social media statistics.
Yeah, like, where, I mean, not even social media, just statistics or the things that I'm looking at the statistics, but what I see every day as far as the homicide rates, and then you look at the what's going on as far as like how, I don't know if I hate that women getting rid of their children and stuff like that, like how and I think you mentioned that last time I was on here, like the whole Margaret Singer thing and how it's kind of like it's promoted to us in that way. You know what I'm saying? So I think all of that is a part of it, man. When you look at like just how, you look at how many of us are not being born every year versus how many of us are passing away every year. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. And then, then like you look at the family structure. It's like, where are the families? You know what I mean? That's one of the things like I've really like stressed. And I think Fu mentioned something earlier as far as like the with the athletes and stuff like that, and like where the fathers really come in at. I have sons, and I tell them all the time, I love you and I support you, but we got to make sure you got a backup plan. Yeah, I know you love your sports. They all play sports, but everybody not gonna make it. And so we gotta have a plan. You gotta think about that. You gotta have a second plan, a third plan. So we like, well, I think like that plays a huge part in it. Like we forget about the family aspect, the broken homes, the fact that that all of this stuff is being promoted to us, and then so many of us pass away senselessly all the time. Every year you look at the numbers. I just look at the numbers in my city, and then I look at them in other cities, and I start adding it up, and it's like it's mind-boggling. So I think, I don't know, man. I feel like it's almost ridiculous that we could still be that we could just be stagnant at 13%. But I'm saying, like, if you look at all the factors, I mean, I can kind of see it too.
But we not. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, even when it comes to statistics in itself is wrong. Like, all these statistics is not right.
You're right.
We literally got like in the words of my good auntie Megan, we literally got 64 different types of nigga in America right now.
Yeah.
64 different types. What was you about to say, Tiff?
We have to, I know this is a hard construct to break and to think outside of, but these statistics are coming from poor class.
I ain't never took a census, sis.
This information poor class. We talking about homicides. I guarantee no homicides like this at the level as happening in affluent class. We have affluent Black people in this country. We have Black people that are doctors and lawyers and have full homes and have generations of mothers and fathers in a home, and people that's going to college and graduating and creating great lives for themselves and making
Black debutantes.
that's not on the internet, that's not influencers, that's not athletes, that's not hoes. We got rappers. We got a lot of Black people that are outside of our bubbles, right? That we put ourselves in, that are flourishing. So it is a very, very hard construct to talk outside of because they don't give us that information. If you're connected to those people, if you're not in those circles, you would barely know they exist because they try to keep us all together. But I guarantee you, without a shadow of a fucking doubt, there is a absolute equivalent to white people affluent is Black people affluent out here doing the same shit. They just don't want to put it in our face. My grandfather was college educated. Them the 1940s and 50s we talking about. You understand? My great aunt played for the symphony orchestra, right? So these are not, we talk about the 1920s. My great grandfather owned a grocery store. So there are others.
Can I say something that's going to be controversial to everybody? And
well,
I hope
hold
I don't
on. Let Fool go first because I saw his hand up, and then we're going to go to you. Sorry about that.
No, we cool.
The one thing they do in this country, and they've been doing it for a while, is preaching equality. They've been talking about equality for so long, but it's skewed based on these numbers. And remember, they can lie with statistics. They wrote a book about it. This is a fact. So, and I've said this to Shannon before. Go pull up the clip of Muhammad Ali talking about Black people in America. He said the same exact number. He said 40 million Blacks. It was 30. He said the same. This was in the 70s. My whole thing is, if we want to talk about equality, break it down to where it's supposed to be broken down. Say white American. Say Black American. Or Hispanic. Don't let motherfuckers come to this country and put down Caucasian. That's the only reason why them numbers is where they at. Because there is no way they can keep talking about the white population is declining because of birth rights. How they still the largest population in America? That makes no sense. That's not logical. They lump people in and they fudge these numbers. And that, to me, that also plays into what we're talking about with, is America obsessed with race? Of course they are. Because this is what we see. They want everybody to be so damn separated so that they can keep playing off of this. Because everything boils down to money. When you start talking about numbers and everything like that, education and families, and those numbers, they are lying. Because as many times they can talk about baby daddy this, baby, guess what? Every race got baby daddies and baby mamas, all of them. Don't just lump that up with just one group that they the highest. Kiss my ass. No, because we all know people, we've seen it. Grandmothers, aunts, and uncles been together for 40 years. And they raised their children to be the same exact way. We've seen that. We have witnessed it. It may not be as common to us, but it's out there. Guess what? What are the Boule not claiming Black people? Are they not putting Black when they put down their race? Because it's a lot of Boule out there. It's a whole lot of Boule. And guess what? They marry their own and they keep it in the family. Period.
So I've been trying to play this video that you sent me, bro. I ain't gonna be able to do it because it's literally kicking me out of the live. And now it's playing and I can't play it. I don't even know where it's at.
You know what? You know what? Maybe you don't need to see the picture. You don't need to see. We all know how this goes. Give me 1 second. We know exactly how this goes. Here we go.
I can't stop it from playing.
Can you?
This is Jawan Porter from Georgia. This is the guy that got on TikTok live last July, 2025, and he threatened to assassinate Trump. Said what he was gonna do, how he was gonna do it with his gun and everything. That's what he said. If y'all remember, the people that follow me, I made a video and said, Jawan, I don't know if you watch me, but you need to take that down, brother. You might go to jail. Everybody commented on my video, which now has been taken down since then. I don't know why, because it really wasn't nothing to it. I'm just warning a brother. And everybody got in there and said, you trying to be a content creator, you need to read up on your First Amendment rights. Apparently, you don't know what your First Amendment can do for you. Apparently, y'all need to read up on it. Because Jawan got sentenced to 3.5 years in federal prison. And when he get out, he got 3 years supervised probation. The U.S. attorney said First Amendment does not protect you from political threats. I told y'all that. Y'all told me I'm making up stuff. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know if you want to be a comedian or you want to be a political figure. No, man. Like I told you, I just speak the facts. I told you I don't know everything, but I know a little bit about a lot of things. You feel me? Yeah, my hand getting a little better, y'all. But fell off my bike.
There y'all go. You like hearing that.
It won't stop playing. I can't stop it. I don't even know where it's at.
Hold up. Let me know how. I know I'm starting to get a little dark. Is that better, or should I lighten it up?
Okay. Oh, Jesus. That shit was taking me under. Like it was just playing in my voice, in my headphones, and then what you was playing, and I couldn't find it on my screen. Anyway, let's go ahead and hop into this shit. Like, I'm sorry, y'all.
Hold on,
I'm confused. I'm still trying to learn how to work my Mac.
Yeah, Mark want to say something.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. To touch on what we were saying earlier, like I said, what I'm about to say is probably controversial, but I believe that the whole civil rights movement was a scam. I believe integration was the worst thing that ever happened to Black people. I believe that they convinced you that what you had wasn't good enough, and they convinced you that what somebody else had was even better. You got hit with the grass is greener syndrome, and what we're seeing right now is the consequence. And a lot of people don't really realize, but it's a multitude of things that are happening, the reason why our population remains where it is. And until we can take accountability for our own causes to the reason why our population numbers are the way that they are, from the fact of the things that we do, how we live our life, the data and the information that we allow to filter into our life, because most of us walk around in the cloud believing a bunch of lies and nonsense. And if we actually knew the truth about how things really worked, and if there was like, a God and he's watching everything that you do, perhaps we could, put ourselves in position to get ahead. But like I said, going back to Jesse Jackson, going back to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of these people at one point in time were bought and sold. And that's what we don't want to realize. We want to harken back to all of these people because they're trying to make the past like it's so glorious and it was so terrible for Black people. The bottom line is when Black people were focused on us, we were doing our damn thing. And a lot of people like to go back to Tulsa, but you don't really understand the full context of what was going on in Tulsa. And it wasn't necessarily as much about race as it was about other things like competition. And competition things get wild when it comes to money. It only seems like it's about race when sometimes it's really just about place. I got a saying where I'm from. It's not racism, it's placism. Sometimes you just got to realize your place in life. And for us Black folks, if we really understood our place in life, we would stop all of the hatred. We would stop killing each other. We would stop falling for the banana in the pipe, because these people gas us up every single time. And you thinking that they're doing it because they hate you because you're Black. They're doing it because you're competition. If I go into a room and it's only 5 pieces of steak and there's 17 people in there, everybody not getting the steak. So what do I got to do to make sure that I get mine? So if I got to convince you of some foolishness, if I got to put poison in the well, it's about living or dying when it comes down to getting these steaks, right? So if it's only 5 steaks and there's 17 people in there, how many people not getting a steak? And this is how I look at life. It's not necessarily about racism, but it's about placism. Our place is below because we put our place below. The moment that we decide that we want to be more than, we will be.
agree. I agree
Yeah.
wholeheartedly.
Was you about to say something, Ricky, before I move on?
No, I was just saying to my, like I agree with that. You know, when I was younger, that was one of the that was kind of what I just me thinking. That's what kind of woke me up and changed my mind about Martin Luther King because um that's what you know, the whole desegregation thing to me, when I started to look at it, you know, with clearer eyes, I realized like he basically, not just him, but that movement basically convinced black people that what you, like he just said, what you had wasn't good enough. You're validated if you can go eat at their restaurants, you're validated if you can go to their theaters, you're validated if you can ride on their bus. And so Dr. Claude Anderson said that on the Breakfast Club. I remember he said when they desegregated the buses, he said his family owned a black bus company, and basically people was like, well, you got any white buses? He like, no, well, y'all need to get some white buses so we can ride on them. And that's kind of like what happened. Is like we were convinced that you know, our education, even though the education that they were getting in segregated black schools is better than what a lot of our kids is getting in these inner cities now, but we felt like, you know, in order to be validated, in order, our education is not good enough unless we can go to white schools, when we were really better off being taught in our own schools, in our own classrooms, and our own teachers.
Yeah.
We didn't feel like that until somebody told us to.
Yeah, Martin Luther
Man.
King and them. Facts. Martin
So
Luther King, tell them. Yeah.
I mean, it was before MLK. Really. If we really want to, like, the more and more you like look into history, and I know that like some people will be like, man, you don't know what you done. This country was built on colonialism and structuring and categorizing people based on race only for their sick privileges of having free labor. It didn't matter if it was black or white. The blast from the past, that explains right then and there that like at one point in this country, they looked at black and white people. It didn't matter if you was cargo, you were cargo. But because they wanted to inflate their numbers to make the illusion. Now, I don't know if you all know this. Benjamin Franklin even said in his address to America in race at the beginning of America, he did not like the fact that it was so many black and tawny colored people on a worldwide scale compared to Anglo-Saxons, white people. They didn't like that. Their goal was to try to come over here and take the entire region over. Germans weren't even white like they are today. They were probably Tiffany's color.
Hey,
Competition.
It's competition, and that sucks that it's this way. But this I ain't gonna call her. Well, she is a sister because she's a human. But this woman right here is really kind of what made me want to do this, because I was just like, this kind of, is this how I want to hear from other people? If anybody else feel this way, hold on, turn this up a little bit.
Before you play that, I wonder if her lips are real.
That's called bold glamour. That's a bold glamour filter. The reason why I'm playing this right now, why I'm starting to show off with this, is because I noticed something. One day I was just scrolling and I was like, every single video, black people, 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 white people, white people, black people, white people, black people did this, black people did that. And I was just like, what the hell is going on here? Y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about. It ain't nothing else going on. I can't get no dance videos no more. All we're going to talk about is black people and their misfortune. So what is the problem? And I wonder if y'all feel where she coming from, like I did.
Black Scottish thing. If you can't tell, the whole black Scottish thing and the whole gingers are black thing, like, Americans are obsessed with black people. It's clear. Even the racist ones, we are obsessed with black people. We love them. Most of us love them. There are a few of us that act like they hate them, but they're also obsessed. If you can't tell, the whole black.
That was a creepy video. I didn't want to add that. It was kind of creepy in a way, because I don't want to be obsessed over it. I don't know about you, Mark. I don't want to be obsessed over. I would love to just be left the hell alone. I don't want to be obsessed over. Why? But why pick your phone up and say that?
Because it's the truth.
Why do you
Well, she
think
sees
that?
it as.
But why do you think that?
I think that they think. I think that we're different, and anything that's different to you is intriguing. When you look at how we are in our totality, we walk different, we talk different. Now I can say differently, we walk differently, we talk differently. That's proper English, but that's not the cool element about us. It's the fact that we can break the so-called rules and we can walk between the so-called raindrops. That's what makes us have a certain aura, a certain appeal about us. This is black, and this is black men and women, right? We have a certain je ne sais quoi, a certain it factor, and it's just it permeates from the way our hair follicles grow out of our head. It permeates, like I said, from the way that we talk. How many times have you gotten on the phone with somebody, you've never seen this person a day in their life, but you can tell immediately you talking to a black person? I mean, you can hear the blackness in our voices. Like we are just something that, dare I say, is a creation of God. I mean, we are all God's creations, but I just feel like when he talked about the Israelites, we were the people who he was talking about. We were God's chosen people. That's the reason why we go through the struggle and the strife that we go through, because a lot of it is self-inflicted, but a lot of it was foretold, you know? And I just think that people see that and they want some of it. They want some of our aura, and they wish that they could have it. They wish that they could go lay out in the sun for hours without getting burnt to a crisp. They wish that they could do cool things like getting cornrows and all of that stuff with their hair. It's everything about us that makes everyone love us and also makes everyone hate us. But I would argue hate is just confused admiration.
Hey, Mark, I got a question that's on topic and off topic. I've been going to I was going to Baltimore from the age of like 7 years old. Why have I never heard a white person with a Baltimore accent? Ever.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Ever.
What I had to realize is Baltimore is a very segregated place. There's, some pockets of, like Highlandtown where it's like a lot of white folks at, but for the most part, you don't see them until you start heading out into the suburbs. Most of the inner city folks is in that is black folks, and we have a certain way that we just talk, and we have a certain accent, which you probably hear when I'm speaking now. And like I say, the white folks, they try to disassociate with us on every level. So like when you go out to the far reaches of Maryland, it's like you never even, like Baltimore is not even the same state.
And I don't know if y'all, like Tiffany, she nodded her head. When I tell y'all, nobody talks like a person from Baltimore.
That's Philly.
About,
That's Philly too. I've been all over this place. That's
Chicago is the same way, y'all.
It's not and I want to touch on when you said you don't like being obsessed over. It's just as bad as being accepted. You don't know how that feels to be in a room with a bunch of white people and they get comfortable.
Oh yeah, I do. I do.
And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay. Well,
or what about when you get comfortable?
Okay, right. Or right. It's a very thin line, and I don't know which is worse.
I lost.
I think it's best. I love when they get comfortable because I want to know who I'm talking to. I want to know the real you. I want to know who I'm in the foxhole with. And I want to know your real thoughts. So forget the mask that we all put on. I want to see how you really think and what you really feel in your heart. So yeah, get comfortable with me. Absolutely.
I'm just gonna be me. I don't code switch or anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to be like, I do have my voice that I got to put on, of course, when I'm, when it's professional or something like that. But you can still tell that obviously I'm a sister, I'm a black woman.
Right.
But I do know that, yeah, there's certain things that you do got to walk a fine line on. And I learned this the hard way when I was working at Cracker Barrel. I worked around nothing but white folks. And we was like a family.
Right.
This is my first experience with them. Like I told you, I come from Gary, Indiana, and in East Chicago. It was mainly black and Hispanics. Was no white people there. It was just us. So we're moving here. It was experience. and we was talking about something regarding Katrina. I had noticed something, and I said, like, man, I'm noticing that like the only people I see out here begging for help and shit and standing on top of rooftops is black folks. Like, y'all got the white folks in little caravans and stuff, and y'all usher. This is what I saw when I was watching it, because I'm watching CNN, watching the news. I wasn't number like 21 years old. You know what I mean? I didn't know what was going on. And I got fired a couple of days after that.
Because George Bush don't like black people.
Somebody told on my ass. I was like, damn, which one of y'all snitched? Y'all some
Put the battery
bitches.
right in your back, man.
You know,
Oh
just,
my
just out of
God.
curiosity, based on you telling that story, unless I'm going crazy, I don't remember them ever interviewing anybody dealing with Katrina that was white.
Oh, they did. They
They
did. Yeah, like when the remember last year when they had, I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year when they had the anniversary, and they was doing all of them documentaries. It was some energy harvesting shit, in my opinion, but like that's just pretty much what it was going on. They had documentaries on Hulu, on Amazon Prime. They had all kinds of documentaries, and I ended up paying to watch one. And yeah, they had white people that was out there in the centers with black people. Like it was.
I'm talking about the interviews. But I remember, all I remember is black faces behind the interviews. What was going on? I don't remember. That's what I'm saying. That's why you mentioning that. I was like, wait a minute. Everything. I could be wrong. Y'all can go check yourself. I don't remember seeing too many white people. I lost everything. All I remember seeing is they put a
lot of that out there. But you want to know something else that they forgot to mention when it came to Katrina? That they had white immigrants out there shooting people. And now, and this is what I mean why I say, like, we don't know who's white or black anymore. It's been so many people who've been able to come over here and classify as white or black, and they probably are the most hateful people. And because they do hateful shit, you automatically assume, oh, well, that's a black person. That's a white person. No, what if that's a South Afrikaner? Like, what if that's someone from Holland? What if that's someone from Germany? What if that person is from Jamaica, like the little boy who tried to escape after he shot that boy to Jamaica? He was Jamaican, but automatically, usual suspects. Look at these monkeys. Look at these niggas. You don't even be knowing who be who, but yes, they had white vigilantes that was out there in Katrina that were shooting black people or whoever that they saw, probably black people, that were taking stuff from stores. And when these people talked, they had a very different accent. It wasn't the Bayou accent. It wasn't the accent from somebody that's from New Orleans. No, they had like they probably were from they probably were Afrikaners. I'm not gonna hold you. Like they had like a different, like, you know how when you hear what's his name talk? Elon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was that type of yeah.
How much accountability do we have to take?
For Katrina?
No, not for Katrina. I mean, that's a natural disaster. I'm talking about how much accountability do we have to take for our imagery? Our image gets disseminated all over the world, and I don't think people give two shits about it, whether it's Hurricane Katrina or not. We allow, because even before we had the phones in our hands, we was quick to jump on these rap videos, got black women twerking everywhere. Everybody think that we eat fried chicken, gold teeth, gold chains, and spinning rims. This is what the world thinks of us, not just America, but the world. How come no one ever gave a shit about the world and how we're being viewed? Because now that America has always been the place that people want to come to, and so now that people are getting the free way, getting their way overhead, they're seeing how easy it is to take advantage of the resources that we don't take advantage of because we're too lazy. And they also see a way for them to manipulate the situation. They see how we can be overly emotional in situations that don't call for it, and they play on our pain. We assume that these people coming from third world countries are stupid, or that they less than, or that they can't think, or that they can't formulate shit, or they not diabolical. Whole time these people have been waiting their whole life to get over here to get an opportunity to take advantage of the exact same shit you walk by every single day and just leave it on the ground. And then we get mad that our situation situation ain't right. When you look at Hurricane Katrina, it was black people who they kept showing because we the ones out on roofs. Oh, help me, help. We look crazy. And now, of course, I'm seeing and I'm going to show that shit because one, we using this to get money because we getting viewership. Two, the people from FEMA, whoever the Democrats or whoever you want to call is trying to get the funding. Yeah, we're going to use you black people to put you out there to tug on your heartstrings. The same way that they're using black people right now for DEI. We're not the number one recipients of DEI benefits, but however, who are the main people you see complaining about DEI right now? Black folks. That's by design. They get us to go out and jump out the window or look crazy. And then the minute we do some dumb shit, they got their cameras right there. And we right there acting a fool for them. And then what happens is you think that it's only in your local area, or you think that when you make these videos that it's only going to your feed. The whole time it's people in Africa, it's people in Asia, it's people in fucking Russia that can see you. And of course, if this all you see is black people being idiots, being thugs, being hooligans, all they see is our women twerking, being fast, being inappropriate, being ghetto, being ratchet. What are you naturally going to assume? It's not like they got a bunch of black people walking around their country to see that that's not true. Then what do they have to compare it against?
Do y'all remember when TikTok was going to be shut down? Y'all remember that? Remember they was talking, remember we had that little stretch? Did y'all happen to see the videos of the people from other countries saying if TikTok gets shut down, what am I going to watch now for my drama? I watched 3 different videos of 3 different women from England saying, oh my God, if they shut down TikTok in the United States, I'm not going to have anything to watch. I enjoy watching all of that. And I was like, damn, I get it, but to hear it is different.
But me personally, I believe that it has a lot to do with who controls what imagery gets put out. Because I could walk in a black neighborhood, I'm not going to see the same shit that I see on my timeline on a regular basis. I could watch I could look up people like Julianne Brown and nobody would know exactly who that was. And that was the boy who literally turned plastic into water. The fact of the matter is that, like, we got to look at the fact of who's controlling the narrative. Who is the one who's responsible? Because, yeah, we got ghetto people. We know we got some ghetto motherfuckers in this country. But then for every ghetto motherfucker, it's probably 5 other Tiffany's.
You gotta use me.
But what I'm saying is because, like, we're being put in a box and we shouldn't be.
That's what I'm
saying. You know what I'm saying? We're
but,
being put in a box. Go ahead, sis.
But for what Mark said, whose fault is that? Because we always on the Real Housewives, they always say, "Oh, the producers did that to me. They edited that." But bitch, you still said the words. You still did the action.
Well, and then we also got to look at, sis, that a lot of these black TV shows are ran by immigrants. They're all ran by immigrants.
But
that speaks to what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Action,
it's working.
They wouldn't have shit to give. They wouldn't have shit to slice together. They wouldn't have it, right?
I think that when it comes, and I think also when it comes to shows like the Real Housewives of Atlanta, that was the first of its kind. They just wanted to show that black people was out there getting money. Because, if you ain't never been to the South and you up here in the North or you out East and you've never been to the South, mainly your perception of the South is completely different than somebody who's lived there or who has been there. They automatically assume that the South is just gold teeth and big chains, like ghetto and hood rats, and it's really not.
But that's the core mentality that I'm talking about. It's only a certain class of people that believe this bullshit.
Yeah. And they the one, and that class of people is the ones that get the most promotion.
That's
what if you even notice when it comes to the algorithm. Charles White said something so real, and I hate to say it. If it sounds like I'm playing a victim, I don't give a fuck. On social media, we're definitely going through something called a digital redlining. There is a digital redlining that's happening on social media right now. I swear to God, and I test it every time. I'll put out something saying something disrespectful or hateful or putting out an image about black people, and that shit'll go viral. If I put out an image talking about something regarding white people and calling white people out on some racist shit that I might see from a content creator, that shit go viral. Let me put out something about unity. Let me talk about something where I let white people know, like, look, you don't even know who's white in your community right now. Let's be honest. Or me telling black people, hey, black people, you don't even know who's black anymore. Y'all blaming white people for crimes that you think all white people committed, and that's not the truth. I just gave you an article letting you know that there are white people walking around here who are descendants of slaves. So they're not going to put that out there because they only want you to hate. Hate makes money. Division makes money. If we was to come together, really, blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians, all of us, the minority groups, the so-called minority groups, because truthfully, I believe it's probably more of us than it is of them. And I'm being honest. You gotta literally populate the country with people from other countries in order to make it seem as if there's more white people than there is of everybody else. For what? What is this status about white privilege that you hold so strong? Why is it that black people are the only ones that got to be made to feel as if you're 13% of the population, so you don't matter, or we gotta keep your vote, or we gotta show you that you're nothing but drug addicts, pimps, whores, sluts, strippers, prostitutes, and bad mothers. We're not showing more Julian Browns, people who actually create things. We're not showing people who are astronauts, who may be astrologicals. We're not showing scientists. We're not showing that because the algorithm also promotes more chaos in the community. So racist people or bots could say, oh, look at these niggers acting up again. Or black people could see something. Oh, clear people. The fuck is that? Sun Dodgers, they all hate us. That we suffered more than Jesus. I seen a black girl get on here and say, I suffered more than black people, slaves suffered more than Jesus.
Yeah, crazy. I seen that.
Wow.
What are
People,
we even talking
But
about?
but you
bro?
know, I agree with Mark though, and Tiff. You know, it's a combination of both because, like you said, uh, yes, you have people who regulate the algorithm and produce certain things, but at the same time, we can't put ourselves in a position to be put out there, and that's kind of like where I stand with it. It's kind of like, all right, you know, at this point, we got to stop. We got to stop allowing people because what I see that I always call it the entertainment industry version of black people. That's kind of like what get put out there. The
Fact.
rapper, the entertainer. This, you know, that's the only version of us that really gets put out in the mainstream. And even those who know better, even the boulets, the people who don't carry themselves in that way, they'll go out of their way to defend it though. And that's what I'm saying, because I'm like I see both sides every day. I live in the suburbs. I'm a family man. You know, but I'm in the hood every day. I'm in the city every day, and you know, it's like sometimes it is overwhelming when you riding around and you seeing your people in those conditions. And I falter in that way because when I go home, it's a whole. Where I live at, it's a bunch of this. It's a lot of black middle class people, families, mothers and fathers raising children, people with good jobs and careers and all that stuff. So I see that every day, but I feel like for whatever reason, and maybe I've just been conditioned to think that way. It's like when I see the negativity, maybe I don't know if it's embarrassment or I don't know. To me, I just get overwhelmed by it, and I just feel like I don't know. It's like that kind of like overtakes everything. Even though I know the good, I know the positive, I know where
Yeah.
I came from, but it's just like I don't know. I think it's just. I think for some of us, it's like an embarrassment, and so we feel the need to call it out. Some people are trying to separate themselves from it, and then I think this you got some people that just go too far. But I do believe that we have to take some sort of accountability, like when they come out, because you know that was. I think that was put together. It was a put together thing. But when they put out a sexy red, for example, we can reject it. We don't have to accept it. We can all just say, no, that's a little bit too much. But
Right.
even some of the most well put together people, they will embrace it. I saw a video of, I don't know if you've seen this, and I'm gonna stop after this, but I saw this lawyer in Chicago, and I guess she beat a case, and she's out there and they dancing and waving their hands and making gun signals with their hands. And this is she's a well put together woman. She's an attorney, and this the way that she's choosing to like represent herself. And it's like, it's embarrassing. I'm sure that she's a smart woman, but it's like, why do we always choose this? Now, I'm sure that woman had a good life, went to school, she became an attorney, but we embrace the negativity. And it's like, maybe those of us who can see the issue with it, some of us have to say, no, that's not cool. We're not, I know we do. We're not going to put ourselves in that position so we can be, put out there in that light. But I think that you got those who embrace it, and those of us who are not on that, who still are willing to defend it. Well, it's black, so it's good. You can't say nothing bad about it. We got to take some accountability for that.
I think that accountability definitely needs to be taken on behalf of but I also believe that it has a lot to do with us not being on one. We need to be on one accord when it comes to certain things. Like the elders, we the elders now. We really kind of the elders now, because like some of the elders is on point. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the elders is, but I feel like that, like this new generation, they not really listening to the elders. They gonna listen to us before they probably listen to somebody that's in their 70s or their 80s. Unfortunately. I think that like it comes down to how people are structured. There's certain things that Tiffany don't. Me and Tiffany were just talking about it. We don't listen to certain music. We don't listen. We don't watch certain TV programs. A lot of this shit is programming, and we lost that. We lost the ability to have control over our programming when people like Bob Johnson sold our shit. When they sell BET, when they sell Jet Magazine, when they sell the Essence Festival, you know what I'm saying? When they sell these things before that, I mean, like even when it comes to our hair care products, y'all are selling Black-owned hair care products to people who have no idea about how Black people's hair work. That's why so many of these Black companies are now being sold in the dollar store now, as opposed to being sold in places like the way that y'all targeted Target, that actually hurt Black businesses, because it's a lot of Black people who have businesses in Target. Tabitha was one of them. It was a couple of others. I think the Bratton Hub wife had a hair care product. I think that it comes down with what's promoted and what is being programmed for people to do. We could sit all day and talk about Sexy Red. Yeah, we should never accept her. But hell, I'm from the Midwest. We was listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony play with Ouija boards when I was young, but we had balance. We don't have any balance anymore.
Can I say something based on what you said about Target real quick?
Go ahead.
How is it that they boycotted Target to say don't shop there instead of saying only buy the Black products? I never understood that, because there was a bunch of Black businesses that had they product in those stores. Why would you say boycott Target and don't buy anything when it was actually Black entrepreneurs that had business, like they had products there? That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it's programming. It's the programming. It's the same way that they will vote for somebody who was a part of the 90s of the crime bill of the 90s, who said, don't vote for me unless if you ain't Black. You can't vote for me. If you vote for me, then you ain't. If you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. It's the same way that people like Hillary Clinton could sit on the Breakfast Club, a highly popularized show that is for a Black community, and pour hot sauce on our bag, and we look at her like we just didn't see what they did to Haiti, like when her husband was in office. Like, we be forgetting shit. Like I just told you about the Russell Simmons shit. Y'all didn't remember that, but I bet you in 2012 when that Russell Simmons shit came out, y'all knew what was going on. And I don't know if Mark, I think you were late. Russell Simmons did a porno with what's her name? I can't think of her name right now. Harriet Tubman. He did a Harriet Tubman porno. It was a spoof.
More?
Harriet Tubman. It's on YouTube. It's still on YouTube.
What the fuck?
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Black folks.
Russell, wow.
They forgot that, but I bet they'll remember when Kanye West said that slavery was a choice. I bet they'll remember that.
Oh yeah,
picks and chooses. Yeah.
They'll remember that. Go ahead. What's that? Somebody says Sexy Red and Megan Thee Stallion can't keep faithful men. I don't know.
Let's remember though,
But
taking race up out of it. Let's remember about the programming. We were all a more structured community and Bible believing and Jesus God fearing communities of all races when the TV went off at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
thanks.
Okay,
before
so
the television.
24-hour stream of just playing on emotions, and you up all times of night looking at all types of bullshit, and then in the middle of the night when shit is rampant with the energy, then they want to pull out the HBO After Dark and all this other type of shit. We didn't have that when TV went off. When you heard the damn national anthem, it was time to take your ass to bed.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. But remember like back in the day, like also like when it came to like seeing booty shaking and vibrating and stuff like that, we had to watch uncut. I know you know.
How about
I used to watch Uncut all the time, every single night.
You no panties on. I ain't got no panties on. I ain't got to do
Nelly will forever be a legend in my house. Okay,
Listen,
like,
my
Tip Drill, come on, bro.
Have you ever heard that song? What that thing smell like?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like these are freaky, weird, freaky, crazy songs with freaky, crazy videos. But guess what? They was not showed throughout the day. They were showed at night when everybody else was asleep. Even when it comes to like certain like shows like Dream On. I don't know if y'all ever remember shows like Dream On, Sex in the City, Red Taxi Cab Confessions. Like those were shows that you had to watch literally at nighttime. Now you could watch the shit any time of the day if you got streaming sites. They just banned us being able to access Pornhub here in Indiana. That doesn't mean I can't go to another porn site and be able to pull up what I want. They've made it so accessible for us to either get over-sexualized content or content about hate or racist shit. There should be no reason why people should be able to make racist content. It don't matter what race you are. As soon as you say, oh, well, these crackers over here, it should be a strike. As soon as you say, oh, well, these N-words with a hard ER, it should be a strike. But y'all let that shit keep going and circulating so that way we could focus more on hating each other instead of focusing on why we need to really figure out what this system is doing to us. It makes no sense. It's not helping us. It's not helping us get anywhere.
What y'all think we could do if we really knew the truth?
It makes money.
It does. What you say, Mark?
What y'all think that we could do as not just black people, right? We got to get out of our mindset of thinking about black, white, Latino. Like it's not like that. That really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's much bigger fish that need to be fried. There's much more diabolical shit that's going on. Like I said, I kind of touched on it last week. Imagine how you would live your life right now if you knew definitively that God exists. Not that you believe. We all believe on something on some level, but I ain't talking about belief. I'm talking about factual evidence that could be proven. Like 2 + 2 = 4 factual evidence, right? Imagine if we had that kind of evidence. Do you think that people would act and conduct themselves the way that they conduct themselves and move the way that they move if they knew that God was watching every single thing that you did and every single thing that you said? Of course you wouldn't. So how are they able to enact control over us? By convincing you that God isn't real, right? That there is no creator, that you don't mean anything, that we're just individuals just floating through space and we are insignificant and our lives mean nothing. So that makes it a lot easier for you to be controlled. It makes it a lot easier for them to disseminate the messaging. And as technology continues to grow, it makes it more and more easier for them to consume your mind with a bunch of bullshit. That's the reason why they keep telling you stuff that has nothing to do with nothing. Like you keep talking about this Artemis spaceship shit landing and all that, when we really should be focused on the economy. We really should be focused on the war. Everything is a bait and switch. And until we can get that in our mind that everything about society is a lie, we will always be in this doom loop.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So when you said I think that this is a good topic that we definitely need to focus on, because I feel like until this is addressed on a government level, we're going to always have this problem. And I touched on this when it comes to classifications. I saw in my chat over here in IG where someone says, you know, why do black people need to be promoted for being black? That's stupid. It's stupid for anybody to be promoted based on a color. When I look in my org at the company that I work for, and I'm looking at the top officials, and I don't see anybody that's in that position that represents me, that I have a problem with that. So when you are asking certain questions, and it's not like there's not qualified people, because there are, I know them. That we got to address the fact that this when it comes to work, DEI, that's literally falls in the lines of what I read in that article about how they had white and black slaves that were still slaves, but they just gave this slave a little bit more to make them feel as if they're better, even if they made significantly less than the black slave. So that means that you could be poor as shit and live in Kentucky or West Virginia or anywhere around the country, and you could be white and still hate black people for what? For what?
No matter how hard it is my life is, no matter what my condition is being white, it's still better than what your condition is being black.
And that is exactly why classification has been a problem, because no race should be considered better than the next. And, you know, us regular everyday citizens, we don't feel that way. I'm quite sure it's white. We know them. There's white Americans out here who don't look at us any less than who we are because we're black. But then you got certain people who be always wanting to say, oh, well, you know, the black community, you know, they're only 13% of the population. All they do is collect food stamps and get this and get that and get this and get that. And I'm just like, so you want to connect race with somebody needing food stamps. You want to create race with a crime, or saying that there's more black people out here committing crimes. Or could it be that there's just the statistics that you see because we're only 13% of the population, as you say?
Could it be simpler than that? Could it just be that America is a movie and every single movie there's a good guy and there's a bad guy? Could it just be we're the bad guy? I mean, it's really that simple. When you look at every single sports league, it all comes down to storylines, right? Everything is always framed in the narrative, good guys versus bad guys. Yeah. Real life is more like pro wrestling than anybody would ever want to admit. That's the reason why we watch pro wrestling. That's the reason why it's so popular. You think all of these governments, the U.S. government, the Israel, Iran, you think all of these people hate each other? If they hated each other, how would they be able to sit down and have a negotiation? They don't hate each other. This shit is all fucking pro wrestling. I told y'all this last week when I mentioned about the Antarctic Treaty. I'm not trying to go there about the NASA thing, but I'm just saying, how could you have gotten 58 countries to agree on one thing? Like I said, right now in the front of the world, it's like, oh, they hate each other. But behind the scenes, they're bros. Like, you got to understand all of this shit is political theater. It's one big movie. And in the movie, unfortunately, black folks have been nominated as the bad guy. We are the villain in this movie. So no matter who comes, no matter who they interchange in as supporting characters, in this movie called America, it's the main characters as in the white folks and the black folks. We just so happen to be the bad guys. That's the reason why we always get cast and framed in the way that we get cast and framed in.
It's funny that he said that, because even when we have the good ones, they always find a scandal to make them the bad guy too. It don't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Because Obama couldn't do no wrong in our eyes at one point in this country, and we know it's the truth. You know, we looked at so many people that we thought we knew, but we really didn't know. It's like, oh my God, they seem like a genuine great person. Like, I would have never thought that Bob Barker would say those horrible things that he said behind the scenes, but he did. I didn't know that the father from Seventh Heaven was a whole rapist out here and was a pedophile. Like, you just don't know what other people have going on.
And I think
let's talk about something we all, you know, that we know that's hot in the topic right now. And like, why do y'all think America is so focused on categorizing people, especially immigrants, as black and white?
Because they have to, because once again, it always has to be a hero and a villain, like he said. It has to be. They have to make sure that they're doing that, because think about it. When you do that, somebody's gonna be mad. And if somebody's mad, that means there has to be a winner and a loser. And mind you, the government is always going to win. I don't know if y'all rock with Ali Sadiq. I don't know if y'all rock with Ali Sadiq like I did. To me, like I do. He's one of my favorite comedians. He said when he was in jail, when two dudes would get ready to fight, he would say to him, "Which one of y'all ready to lose twice?" What the fuck you mean? He's like, well, one of y'all gonna win this fight, but both of y'all gonna get your ass whipped by these guards. So somebody gonna lose twice. And he made them think. So I compare that to what goes on with us. When all this stuff is going on, somebody's gonna lose twice. Because and it's gonna be multiple, and the winner is always gonna be the powers that be. They always win because it's marketing. And remember, problem plus solution equals opportunity. They produce, they create the problem. They offer, like, they do all, everything is them. But then we fall, not us, but most people fall for the shit. They create the problem, they give you a fake ass solution, and then they have the money for the opportunity.
Real shit. And to say that is also when in reference to what I just originally said, I don't think immigrants like the fact that they got to classify as black or white. I don't think that they like it. And this young lady, because see, that's another thing. When it comes to people who are outside of America, they are either part of the tribe that they're from, when it comes to like places out there in Africa, or like if you are from Puerto Rico, you're Puerto Rican. If you're from Brazil, you're Brazilian. If you're from Mexico, no matter, and all of these places have people of different complexions, you're still them. Like if you're from Mexico, you're Mexican. You know what I mean? So only in America, we just ain't all be American. And that's something that definitely needs to be studied on why that's like that and how we could possibly move past that, because that's what's keeping us separated. And this lady, she breaks it down perfectly on how things are based upon her being somebody who is not technically from America, who's from another country. And I'm gonna let y'all hear it and then we'll come right back.
I truly would like to know what is Americans' obsession with race? Everywhere you go, it's race, 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 race. That I know of, the rest of the world identifies by nationality, heritage, culture, even tribes. But in America, it's like you have to choose whether you're black or white, which is so disrespectful to people that come from multiple backgrounds, like Hispanics, for example. We're consistently being attacked all over social media because we have to say we're black if we look more black, or we're white if we look more white. Like, what is going on? The majority of Hispanics are mixed. Hispanics are a mixture. For example, Caribbean Hispanics. My family's Dominican. We are African, European, with small percentages of Taino. Some people can go from 8 to 20% Taino, which is the indigenous people that resided in the island before Columbus came, before the Europeans came. So how is it that we're mixed, but we have to identify fully as black, according to Americans, which is crazy to me. We don't identify by any race. We just call ourselves Dominican because we know that we have a lot of different backgrounds. So we're just our nationality, our culture. Just because people are black doesn't mean that we're the same. A Nigerian's culture and a Dominican's culture and a Jamaican's culture and a Haitian's culture is different. We even talk different languages. Just because we have the same one common ancestor, being the African, doesn't mean anything when we have other mixtures in us, which means we have European cultures, we have native cultures that are still alive today in our culture, in our music and our food and everything. So what unites us is our culture, our heritage, not just one race. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why Americans don't understand this. They're continuously bullying, especially Dominicans, as we already know. And now I'm seeing a lot of bullying towards Puerto Ricans with the same thing, and Cubans, Islanders mostly. Yes, a person could be a dark skin, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Colombian, Salvadoran, whatever. They are still their nationality. And the reason why a lot of them say I'm not black when they're in America is because we know that black in America 90% of the time refers to African Americans. So an African American and a Colombian and a Dominican and even a Haitian and a Jamaican is not the same thing. We're completely different cultures. So it makes no sense for us to just say that we're black. Another thing, Europeans are all white, the majority. I don't see them calling themselves white. A French and a German is not the same thing. A Russian and a Spanish person are not the same thing. Just because they have the same color skin does not mean they're going to identify as white and completely forget about the rest of their culture and their heritage, which is what unites them at the end.
You know what's funny about you playing that video is even though race may not be prevalent in other places like that, colorism damn sure is. They don't see it's funny how I agree with her. I'm not going to deny that shit, but it's the reason why it's a bunch of Africans over here in the United States and over there in Africa, they bleaching their fucking skin. You got Dominicans that don't fuck with Puerto Ricans because of the like it's dark-skinned Cubans. That shit been going on for a very, very long time.
Yeah, so, the caste system started in those areas in Mexico. The caste system, which we call here in America, the colorists, that started there. Spain bought that to Mexico when they got there. They did.
I think the only group I've seen that don't really do colorism because it seems like they pretty much are dark are Indians.
No, they do it. What? The caste system is there very, very badly. It's that, man, in India, even if you look at it, and if you look at movies or any type of Bollywood, any type of entertainment from other countries, you're going to 9 times out of 10 see mostly pale people from that region. You're not going to see from Cuba. You're not going to see any what's her name, the dark skinned lady who used to sing from back in the day. You're not going to see that anymore. They're going to be pale. They're going to be lighter skinned because colorism is a big thing, and that's what I mean. Like it's
probably worse in other places than it is here in America.
It definitely is. But what's crazy to me is I'm hearing everything that she's saying, but I guarantee you 9 times out of 10 you classifying as white. You are. That be the thing. Like when I found out that like Fat Joe was classifying as white, and you've been in Puerto Rico. Yes, Fat Joe classifies as white.
Get the fuck out of here.
They put his ID, his driver's license up. You'll be surprised how many Hispanics or Latinos classify as white. They can do that. They actually have the option. Before they get over here, they have the option of choosing between because it's not a race, it's not a nationality, or it's something where you can literally choose whether or not you're going to be black or you're going to be white when you come over here. That's Googleable information. But some people, even from other countries who come over here who are melanated, they know that if they select white, they select black, if they go to college, that they're going to get some type of scholarship or all of these, they could get the United Negro College Fund to help them out. They could get all of these benefits that black people sometimes gotta write essays and shit for. Like you gotta have a certain GPA or a certain, play a certain sport to even be able to get these scholarships. But certain people from other countries, there's a content creator who told me she's not black. She might have a quarter of black in her. She's being able to utilize those things that are meant put aside for black people in order for her to go to college for free.
That's why I said civil rights is a scam.
Listen, living in another country, I'm gonna tell you, don't let them fool you. The darker you are, the least you get respect.
Oh yeah.
But they have adapted or adopted that from Europeans. That's not how it originally was. They adopted those ideologies from Europeans for sure. Mm-hmm.
Ricky, I definitely want to hear from you on this one because Ricky, you are Panamanian, right? Like your family, are you full Panamanian? I don't know where he went, but Ricky, Panamanian Ricky, right? So I'm curious to hear from him because seeing Panamanian Ricky, if he didn't have that in front of his name, I would just think that he was just a black guy. Man. But he's darker. So I'm wondering do they have that situation going on in Panama? Is there a caste system out there in Panama where darker people are considered the bottom and people who are of lighter descent are a little bit up at the top when it comes to wealth and resources?
It's a dude on TikTok that I follow. He talk his shit. And something came out, and he actually said he was Cuban. I would have never thought this dude was Cuban. I'm talking about ever. I was like, oh, I mean, I get it, but then, you know, at the same time, like when I go to the times I've been in Miami, I'm not used to seeing dark skinned Cubans. I'm used to seeing them Cubans that pretty much passing as white.
Yeah. Like my neighbor downstairs is, man, listen, black as the night. He don't speak barely no English. He from Cuba. And yeah, there you go. And what's up, Celestine? She said this is why we need to identify how our ancestors identified. I agree. We got to find those documents. You know, we're gonna have to reach out to the Church of the Latter-day Saints and find out where them records is. Hey, Ricky. So I wanted to ask you a question. Is he at work? Yeah, he at work. You must be at work. Turn your mic. I don't know. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going. The only thing I would add to that is that, like I was saying, I definitely believe that the colorist situation, I won't call it racism, but definitely colorism is way worse in other countries, in particularly Latino communities. It's like you could be disowned from your community if you have a baby with somebody who's too dark, or that baby come out a shade darker than it should be. They don't rock with that. They look at it the same way it's viewed in America. The darker your skin is, the harder it is for you to excel. And with Africans, they come in and just try to take advantage of it. Hey, I'm not part of this at all, even though I'm dark. I'm from da-da-da-da, and they start speaking with the accent and try to get away from it as possible. I mean, even when they come here, they tell their families, try to marry white or try to stick to yourself and stay away from us.
What's going on?
They want to keep away from us. Go ahead, bro. They wanted to hear from you.
We can hear you now, Ricky.
Go ahead, bro.
We can hear you. You hear us?
He frozen again.
He froze. Yeah, but go ahead, Mark.
So yeah, like I was just saying, from the standpoint of the same thing, the same issues that we have in our community when it comes to colorism, you know, the Milanos, the brown paper bag thing, like that exists in multiple countries all over the world. Well, basically any country that has multiple people living in it from the standpoint of multiple races or multiple shades of people. I mean, it's not like Russia where everybody's white. You know, when you got places, or like in China, for the most part, everybody is Chinese, and they all kind of like the same exact color.
It depends.
Most places where they have variances in skin color, like in the Latino community, like in our community, there's the caste system, like what you're talking about.
It depends. They push them off to the side. I just learned about who the Aborigines of Australia was maybe about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was so pissed off.
Yes.
Because when you think of Australian, you think of the
Crocodile Dundee.
The Crocodile Hunter, a Crocodile Dundee, just blonde hair, blue eye, you know, yay mate and shit like that. No, the Aborigines. Aboriginals, meaning that that is their country, their land. They did them so dirty, and a lot of them are still here. They're still alive today.
Yep.
But they're very poor. They live in very poor conditions.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're descendants of pygmies. And they did them dirty. They used to the same way that they used to talk about how they used to feed our babies to alligators. They used to take their babies and bury them in the grounds with their heads up, and they would get on their horses and they would play polo with the heads of the babies out there. And these people are still on their land, but they don't really have that access to wealth unless they probably marry in to the non-melanated population. But I think that like that colorist shit is real heavy. Let me see. Let me go to it. Mandani classified as black when he was in school.
Yeah, he got a scholarship. Yep.
They know how to play the game.
But could
Anybody
that be
didn't either.
how? Could that be kind of how Kamala got into? Because she's not black,
Nope.
and she was raised by an Indian mother. Her father wasn't even in her life. He said it that he didn't really support her that much. So, yeah, Kamala, whatever her name is, farting the wind at this point. We just wish she'd just go away. Let's see what else we got here. We got every country that was colonized all have black people in it. We just don't see them advertised on mainstream media. Yeah, I read something about in 2019, like they just like really started recognizing the melanated people out there in Mexico, the Afro Latinos. They just like started recognizing them in certain legislations. And I was just kind of floored by it because I'm just like, they so beautiful. They look beautiful though. And like, you would just think that a country that only focuses on just being Mexicans, y'all just Mexicans and that's it, that you would just show everybody, like you would have a representation of everybody on Telemundo or on all of your TV shows or out and about. But for her to say that, I get it, but you're saying it from an Americanized standpoint. You know damn well that there's color, you know there's colorism going on in your shit. You know that there's division amongst color in the race of so in your own backyard. Like if you're darker, you're probably going to be poor or you're going to be looked at less than you'll look at somebody who's lighter. And I've had people who I was cool with when I was in school that told me the same thing. I had friends who were Hispanic that were darker. I had a friend named Jaime, and he was a darker Hispanic, a darker Mexican guy. And I remember he was wild. He was a different kind of dude. He wasn't mal-mannered at all. And I don't know what he had going on in his house, but he was one of the ones that told me that, like that darker Mexicans are treated bad in Mexico.
You've watched a lot of documentaries. I would love to watch a documentary on colorism in other countries. I would love.
I got you. I'll send you some today.
I would watch Narcos or the Pablo Escobar thing and see how they treated Blackie. That was his name on the show. I mean, you could just
I'm talking about it. I'm talking.
No,
about
I know. I'm just saying, like that's as another example of how they treat black people or darker skinned people in Latino communities.
And I the reason why I say that, because me being from Jersey, the Puerto Rican Dominican type of thing. If you call a Dominican Puerto Rican or vice versa, they don't like that shit. I'm talking about they ready to fight over that shit.
Mm-hmm. And then if you look at the country of Haiti, y'all right next door. But you mean I saw a documentary. I'm always watching some documentaries, y'all. I saw a documentary of how people from Haiti are looked at by people from Dominican Republic. Like they have to wait outside for like days just to go over there to get things to bring back to Haiti. So no, I don't understand how it's I mean colonialism obviously, but I don't understand how it would even be two separate countries when y'all are literally on the same damn island. Man, Spain ain't shit. Straight up though, Spain gonna get look, God gotta get some get back on Spain. Because all of this really started with them. Spain, France,
Portuguese. It will. The way things are crumbling, it will. It's just a matter of time. And like we've said on numerous occasions, people are really starting to wake up and they're starting to address certain things. That's what I love. And people are starting to see this. For me personally, like I said, it just bothers me. I literally know somebody. African couple. I remember what they ain't have. They was living their life. Now, successful, this, that, whatever. I've watched this woman pictures on Facebook. Lighter. And I'm looking like, why would you? I'm saying, why would you do that shit? And it looked weird. Like, if you got people out here, male or female, doing a Sammy Sosa, Sammy Sosa is like the white on in the crayon box. He did that shit. That shit is awkward.
Sammy Sosa looked like the monster that used to be on that box of cereal,
Count Chocula.
Frankenberry.
Yeah, he looked like
dude,
Count Chocula.
And
Yeah.
Sammy Sosa's complexion is the
And
complexion.
he's also Dominican. That's why
Yes.
when that lady was talking on that video, I was like, man, if you don't shut your ass up, Dominicans got it worse than anybody else. They the worst with this colorism shit. Look at Sammy Sosa. This nigga damn near did everything in his career. I mean, you talking about one of the greatest baseball players of all time. It didn't matter if Sammy Sosa was orange and you got this nigga bleaching his skin, walking around looking like the undead. Come on, Count Chocula. I'm not trying to hear that.
Man. Yeah. You got anybody else want to add something until I move on? I'm gonna wrap this up in a minute. I gotta end with a very powerful one. Anybody else? I think Ricky gone.
Yeah, I think
So-
he was having service issues like me.
Okay. Okay. Well, so do you all think that we have a race problem or a problem race?
You said we? You said
Yeah,
we.
America. Do we have a race problem or a problem race?
You got to explain what problem race mean.
A
I'ma
bunch
let
of
Mark
ignorant ass niggas representing the whole community.
I think honestly, we got a race problem because the second part of it developed because of that. It wasn't. It's like a consequence, cause and effect. That's the effect.
Do you think are you saying it's a destiny swap?
I could go with that. Goddamn Tiffany and this designer out of the country clothing that she don't. I want to go. I need to go buy some shit. Fuck you. The way you was talking about how cheap it is, I need to go get me some shit. God damn. She
That shit
Came
is fly.
out the country though. I mean, this came from out the country, but not. It came from someplace else, the mall.
Well, go ahead, Tip. What you think?
I think we have a consumption problem. I think if we consume the proper things, we would be the proper people we supposed to be, and not what we consume, what they try to push down our throat. Pick up a damn book, watch a documentary instead of watching TikTok 9 hours a day, right? Or instead of listening to rap music, it's what we consume. Listen to jazz, listen to classical music. It's the consumption problem.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. I might need to do like a rollout of documentaries to watch. Maybe I need to add that segment because I'm telling you, I'll be watching the hell out of some documentaries. And like once I like listen to something, like I don't know, I kind of want to talk about these Cabbage Patch Kids next week. I don't know. We might have to pull out the conspiracy theory bag, so that way we could kind of move away from race. You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right with that, sis. Absolutely, I agree with that. What you think, Mark?
I think there's a problem race.
Who was the problem race?
Us.
Yeah, but how did we become a problem race though?
Because we allowed ourselves to become the problem race. We drank the Kool-Aid. We allowed ourselves to be infiltrated. We allowed ourselves to be poisoned for the sake of doing good or the sake of being good instead of being selfish. Like every other race on this planet does things to self-preserve except for us. We're the only ones who actively self-destroy. We've been actively self-destroying for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about slavery was a choice, I'm not saying that people wanted to get put on the boat and all that other stuff and wanted to come over here and change. I'm not saying that. But when you look at it from the perspective of think about what Harriet Tubman said out of her own mouth, how many more could she have saved if they only knew that they was enslaved? Most people we don't even realize that we perverted. We don't even realize that we have been infiltrated. We don't even realize that our souls have been destroyed, that we have been put in a position of lack because of the choices that we continue to make. If we put ourselves first, if we erred on the side of doing everything geared toward the survival and the succeeding of the Black race, we would take our natural position in this country. But because we're good enough with taking handouts, we're easily influenced. They play on our emotions because we're overly emotional in situations that don't call for it. That's what puts us in the situation where we now find ourselves as the problem race. And because they make it so easy for us to be in this self-destructive state of mind, about everything that they show us from the consumption part, like what Tiffany was saying, from the standpoint of the things that we watch on TV, the things that we listen to in the music, music, the things that we consume, and all of it has an impact on how we view ourselves and how we view the world. And everything is geared towards black is worse than, black is less than. So you have this victim mentality that all of us constantly sit in. Yeah. And that's the reason why I feel like we're now the problem race.
I feel like it's good. I feel y'all understand. I feel like we need a great reset. This is one of the reasons why, and I agree with Celestine so much about that. When it all boils down to it, white is not really white and black is not really black. I just truly believe that we need a reset. I hear what you're saying, and yeah, we do have like some problematic shit going on in the black community, but as I mentioned before, I feel like that this was definitely structured to be this way. There is nothing that's going on in this country that was not planned at least 20 to 100, maybe 100 years before. Tartarian is a very good place to start. That might be what we talk about next week, by the way. There's nothing that is going on right now there's nothing new under the sun. Even when it comes to all the crime that's going on in our community, yes, on the surface, it looks as if we have a lot, but it's kind of always been that way. We just didn't see it as much. We didn't hear about it as much. We couldn't scroll up and down on our timelines and see people doing ignorant shit. There was a separation of classes also at one point in this country. Black people, we got to stop acting as if our bougie ass grandparents was not happy when black people from the South was coming up here, because they weren't. They did not want them up here. They did not. If you don't believe me, you can look. Thomas Sowell is a great reference. I've seen so many videos of black people from the 60s who lived in Compton, who already had to fight for their position to even be a part of Compton, because Compton was white first. Mm-hmm. They were not happy with black people from the South migrating to their communities. In Chicago, it's the same thing, because their fear was that they were going to bring that black redneck mentality up there, and black and white people, good white folk, was going to look at it as it was them. So we wasn't always unified. Y'all remember back in the day, you see a cartoon, the country cousin versus the city cousin? Mm-hmm. We weren't, and white folks, I hate to tell you, white people in the North felt the same way. There's a story. Indianapolis, Indiana, to be exact. We right next to Kentucky. They did not want y'all up here. They was turning y'all away from their hotels. They was like, oh no, they unkempt. They thought you was dirty. Your southern drawl scared them a little bit. White folks here in Indianapolis, y'all literally like 3 hours away. Mm-hmm. So it all comes down to the fact of everybody needs to understand that people at the top all look at us the same. They just give certain groups of people a little bit more, so that way they could keep black people at the bottom, because they know who you are. You just don't know who you are. Even when it comes to Native Americans, why are Native Americans, if they are the landlords of America, considered to be the poorest in the country? Native Americans are the poorest in the country. They have the worst neighborhoods. They get the most food stamps, welfare benefits, and everything. They're the most begging group of people in this country. But don't nobody ever shine a light on them, do they?
And highest in alcoholism.
I was just about to say the most addicted.
The most addicted. Do you know that when Kamala Harris,
they not the bad guys in the movie? We are.
Exactly. So that right there might need to tell you something. Because you may be operating in main character energy for the wrong reasons. And that's all. That's my final thought. Like Jerry said. This was good, because now I feel like I'm cleansed and we don't got to talk about this shit no more. I wanted to just really get this off my chest, because I really am tired of seeing the shit. I am.
For sure.
I really want us to move past it at some point, because right now, while we're arguing about this black and white bullshit, our country is being taken over by people who do not value anything that was fought for in 1776.
Let me say this to kind of end it with what you said.
Yep.
Think about what came out about that SPLC shit.
I hate that we didn't get to that, but that's
No,
a good point. Go ahead,
because
bro.
based on what you said, it's been planned out for years. Because they tell you one problem plus solution equals opportunity. They say one thing and they do another. So they created this shit. You funding the motherfucker. You supposed to say you against. Come on, yo. That's why, like, I'm telling y'all this. I don't mean to go too political with this. I guarantee you the numbers, when we talk about voter turnout, gonna be low. People are fed up on all sides. They sick of this shit. They are sick of this shit. I think a lot of people on the Democratic and Republican side are going to stay the fuck home. They are pissed.
Me? Because I what you just said, because I'm gonna tell you this right now. I was mad that I didn't get a chance to redo my voter registration. There's not a single Republican that I want to vote for here in Indiana. Not a single one.
I'm glad for Tiffany and Mark. I sent her a video earlier. I'll send that to y'all too if you want. Tim Pool said some shit on a clip from one of his show today. He hit the nail on the fucking head.
He did.
I'm talking about, he said it exactly how it needed to be said because of what we're dealing with. And it's crazy because Indiana, where she is, it's a bunch of motherfucking rhinos. Bunch of rhinos. They just
Mike Pence.
They're just there, and they are truly Republican in name only because they just want to keep their power. They don't give a fuck. They could care less. They spread out. Care. They everywhere. But if y'all want to see that shit, I'll definitely send like tip. I put it in the group chat. But when you watch it, you ain't gotta watch the whole thing. You're gonna see when you should stop watching it. But when he said it, you're gonna be like, there it is right there.
At the end of the day, we all Americans. We American.
Flat out.
Be American. Can we just be American? Can we just
patriotic?
Yeah. Can we just be patriotic and American?
Yes.
I feel like if we're gonna do some marches and shit, we might need to march for them to just remove race off the census altogether. Yep. Maybe we should all march for that.
Let's stand up for that.
Let's stand up for that.
Yeah, I'm so sick of being labeled and labeling other people as colors. I don't get that. Ain't nobody no damn color.
We should just be American and let's classify the immigrants that come over here.
Yeah, that's the motherfucking box you gotta check. You're from here or you're not, bitch.
Let's classify just the immigrants that come over to our country and we go about that. No more black, no more white, no more Latino, no more Hispanic. No. Where did you come from? Where did you migrate? What is your lineage? Because mine is American. I'm American, period. Point blank. Not African American, not Black American. I'm American. And that's what we should be called. That's what we should call ourselves. And once we're able to move past that, we will never, ever need to revisit slavery. We will never, ever need to revisit Jim Crow. Once we're able to literally classify as American and the people who don't belong here get kicked the fuck off or get classified properly, once white people get to see that really y'all are just as much of a minority as we are because y'all have so many people from other European countries coming here to classify you. Once Black Americans realize that they have people from other countries that's been able to come here and classify you, who are passing you up, who are also a part of the narrative that's being pushed out. All of these people that's tethers who are saying hateful things like Funky Deneva, telling us we need to separate. Once we're able to remove the meat from the fat, we can have a nice American meal.
And no subsidies. You come here, you don't get food stamps. You don't come here with money, you can't come. You don't come here with enough to sustain yourself or education to get a good job, you can't be here.
Basically, you can't come here if you ain't bringing something to the table other than working hands. Because America's already built.
Canada's the most liberal nation in the world, but yet they have one of the most stringent immigration policies known to man. All I'm saying is you should be able to pick and choose who you allow coming to your borders. And I'm very much of the mindset that, hey, America kind of need to focus on Americans right now. And I wouldn't mind if we had like a collective breakup with the world and just, put immigration on the pause for a little minute. Respectfully, I'm not trying to, be disrespectful to any group of people or show hatred towards them. However, I'm like, right now we need a healing period. We need to get back to the basics. And I feel like if we really understood the play, we would stop trying to make white folks our enemy and align with white folks, because white folks is in the same exact bed that we are in. Our country is under siege and it's being taken from us, and then we are standing idly by and allowing this shit to happen. Whole time we run about this who shot John about black and white. Meanwhile, the other folks is taking our shit.
You know what's gangster about what you just said? You know how we having this issue with the illegal immigration issue or whatever. What do we say about the crack epidemic and everything like that? And the drug epidemic. When it was in our community, they were locking people up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But when it hit the white community, is when you started to see something. Now it became the opioid crisis. It's about to be the same exact thing in America, because the infiltration is getting real. It hasn't hit the right way yet. Don't matter if it hit the hood. Shit don't matter. When that shit infiltrates one way, they're gonna be like, oh shit. And it made me think about that movie Salt with the Russians that was over here. I love that's one of my favorite movies. That's how it is, because now we're about to see it. I think it's a matter of time.
Yeah. It's gonna have to happen. It ain't no different than what happened with the satanic panic in the 90s. And then I'm gonna leave with here. And the satanic panic in the 90s, if you want to know what it is, around this time they was thinking that certain imagery, certain games was causing white suburban kids to worship Satan or become Satanists or become just crazy. It was crazy. It was a hysteria that was going on. It was stupid, but all of these evangelists and all of these gospel, these preachers and stuff, they was all worried about it. So they had task force and everything to try to figure out whether or not it was, I think it was Dungeons and Dragons, Metallica, rock music, all of these backmasking that was going on in music and stuff around that time. Black people were minding their business. We had our own struggles. We was dealing with the crack epidemic. We had hip hop. We had things going on. Guess what? They did their little meeting that Crazy Bone was talking about, and they figured out a way to take that shit from over there and put it in the black community. So they started using demonic shit in the black community. They brought in Bone Thugs and Harmony and Brother Lynch. Then they also, before that, they brought in the hood shit when it comes to Boys in the Hood and NWA. Think about it. Around that same time, within a 2-year time span, we went from Public Enemy to NWA. That same year, that's when the crime started going crazy. That's when the crack epidemic started. I mean, crack was already heavy in the 80s, but it wasn't that heavy until like the late 80s, early 90s. And they started locking black and brown people up. That was all structured. The only difference of why it didn't hit the brown community that much is because they still have their own lineage. They still have their own customs. They still have their community. They weren't hit as hard, because we are so spiritually led by everything. We think that everything needs to be about us right now. And it really needs to be about America. It needs to be about what we need to do in order to heal from that shit. The crack epidemic is still bothering us today, because a lot of these crackheads had kids, and now they kids is grown and they got kids. A lot of their fathers are still in prison today. So it comes down to the fact of we need to heal America. All of us, America, not black America, not white America. All that shit needs to go down. I'm just curious to know what would happen if certain people weren't allowed to use that title anymore. If they went ahead and said, okay, you can no longer be white. You got to go ahead and do the work and pay for genealogy tests and figure out what your lineage is. And that's what the fuck you going to be called. What if you would never be able to be called white anymore? What if you was never able to be called black anymore? How would you be able to really handle that? Right. If you just was considered an American, if you was considered a human being. Because if we could get to that point, all that shit they talking about up there in Washington, all that shit they talking about on CNN, on Fox News, on every other news channel that only wants to talk about black and white statistics and all of that other bullshit, none of that shit would be matter, because you know who you are, and you are a walking God on this planet. And God gave us the right to feel as if we are such. We shouldn't be tied to no race. We should be tied to our land more than anything. This is our shit. And guess what this land is? It's America. It's not United States. It's America.
Right.
And that's all I got to say, because I'm tired of the bullshit. We're talking about Tartarians next week. We're not going to talk about any race. We're not going to talk about politics. Republicans, I don't know what y'all got going on right now. But because of race and racism and race issues, y'all might not do well this year. Y'all should have focused on the shit I just told y'all to focus on, which was America. Now I'm done. I'm ready to smoke and eat.
Y'all have a good one. Hey,
y'all
man,
have a good one. Thank
night,
y'all so much for joining, man. Make sure y'all
time.
follow all my people. I love y'all, and we gone, y'all. Peace out.
Later.